friends. When I got my first job as a developer, I was so fortunate to have coworkers who mentored me while I was learning how to code. And there was a quote that many of those mentors used, and that was, "A lazy coder is the best coder." And I remember thinking, why are they telling me to be lazy? I know I'm new here, but surely they don't want me to be lazy. And I later learned that what they really meant is that writing code can sometimes be really repetitive. And if you can bundle the work of coding and write one piece of code and then reuse it, then doing that saves you so much time. It reduces the human error that you might make by rewriting the same code, and it just makes for a cleaner, more lightweight program. So let's fast forward to when I initially started investing. I really didn't have any sort of investment strategy. I picked individual stocks that I liked, and I got really excited about them. I started watching business news to keep up with what was happening with those businesses, and I started reading about stock quotes, and I eventually fell into this trap of constantly keeping up with my stocks. I would check my stocks several times a day, and it just became so stressful because, of course, stocks go up and they go down, and sometimes this happens wildly throughout the day. So in the beginning, investing turned out to be so much work for me. It was stressful and it was taking up a lot of my time. But I remembered this lazy coder strategy that my mentors gave me when I first started developing. And I thought, how can I bring this lazy coder strategy over to my investing and be a lazy investor? So if you're interested to know how I did that, then let me show you how. So, as I mentioned, there were three big problems that I ran into when I first started investing. Number one, it was stressful, and the ups and downs of the stock market and the feeling of the risk of losing my money just drove me crazy. A second problem was that it was taking up so much of my time. In order to answer those questions of should I sell, should I buy, should I hold, I was doing a ton of research. I had notifications on my phone whenever a stock went up or down a certain amount, and reading the business news and reading the stock tickers at the bottom of the screen. It was just taking up too much of my time. And then with both of those problems combined, the stress and the time, it was just overwhelming to me, and I couldn't keep up. So by using this lazy coder mentality, I came up with a better method for me to invest that greatly reduced my stress, it greatly reduced the time that I spent investing, and it minimized my risk and some of my human errors that I could make. Now, of course, it doesn't completely eliminate any risk. There is always risk involved when you're investing, but this method does minimize it. And a quick disclaimer right here, I am not an investment professional by any means. I am merely sharing with you my personal investment experience and my own strategy, so please do your own due diligence when you are investing. So, for my lazy investor strategy, essentially what I do is I divide my stock investments into diversified ETFs. An ETF is an electronically traded fund, and that is a group of individual stocks where an algorithm monitors the performance of those stocks. So when I first learned about ETFs and what they were, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't have to do the research on individual stocks. I don't have to watch whether these stocks are going up or down. There's an algorithm that does it for me. Now, of course, I do research on the ETFs that I choose to invest in. However, the ETFs continuously monitor these stocks, so I don't have to do the daily research of how well these stocks are performing. And that saves me so much time. I can just invest once, and the algorithm takes care of the rest for me. Also, ETFs generally don't have those wild up and down daily swings like individual stocks do, so this hugely reduced my stress. And of course, you want to do your own research and pick the ETFs that are right for you and your investment goals. But I would love to share with you some of my favorite ETFs. One of my favorite ETFs is the Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF, or VYM. Vanguard is a pretty well-known name in investments, and its history shows that this is a pretty stable investment ETF. Another one of my favorites is the Invesco High Dividend and Low Volatility ETF, or ticker SPHD. Now, this ETF actually pays monthly dividends, so this is a great passive income ETF. I hope this lazy coder, lazy investor method is useful to you, especially if you're just starting out investing. Of course, please do your own due diligence. There is always some level of risk in any investments. And if you'd like to see more of my investment strategies, then check out my investment playlist. See you next time.